Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. I am Gershon Margolis. I'm the founder of Imperial Advisory. We are a CFO advisory firm, so we work with businesses on the financial side of their house, and we work as CFOs in smaller businesses, and larger businesses we work for CFOs. And we've got a whole bunch of clients of each type. So in a very large business, the CFO is one of the CEO's most trusted advisors, and with smaller businesses, there's no CFO, and again, that's where we come in. And with the larger businesses, often they've got accounting teams that get them a lot of information, but they still need help with projects, with M&A, financial planning analysis, all sorts of interesting things, and they call on us, and we make those CFOs shine. Anyway, one of the things that often comes up when we deal with clients is that they're looking to grow. So they're growing. I always say that it's important to have not just revenue or more revenue, but to also have profitable revenue. It's important to make money, and we help our clients with that kind of stuff. But sometimes clients just need to grow. It's not just about being profitable, or they're already profitable, but they want to be more profitable. And part of that process is through growing top line sales. So we always try to keep our hand on the pulse of other services that are out there, and other ways to help our clients besides for the things that we actually do. So when I met David Taylor, we had a really nice conversation, and some of the stuff that he was talking about sounded interesting, insightful, and I thought it would be beneficial for our audience, for clients, for other people in our network. So I'm pleased to have David Taylor here with us today. I will turn the floor over to him in a moment. I would just like to welcome all the people from our team. Thank you, Brittany, for all your time and effort putting this together. Welcome, Ken, my partner. Everybody else, you all deserve personal welcomes, but since I can't see your faces, it's difficult. It's difficult to personally welcome you, but welcome nonetheless. And thank you to all our guests. And without further ado, David, take it away.
Thanks. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. My name is David Taylor. I am the owner of David Taylor Digital. It's our birthday today at my company. We are 17 years old today, so very happy to share that. Yep, this is the day. So I'm gonna share my screen here, and then I can begin this presentation here. Hold on a second. This is the one. Can you guys see that all right?
Yeah.
All right, great. So I am the founder of David Taylor Digital, and I have been working in the digital marketing field for more than 25 years. My company, 17 years old, has about 140 active clients, and we design and manage ROI-based digital marketing campaigns to drive leads and traffic on behalf of our clients and help them grow revenue. And today, I want to share with you some of what I've learned about the journey that your potential clients and customers take long before they ever contact you. I want to review how to set up your marketing for lead generation that is happening all the time, even while you're sleeping. And at the end of the presentation, I want to save time to share the top 6 mistakes I see companies make when they're doing their own digital marketing. And just so you know, if anyone's interested at the, I'll put this in the chat if I can find it. A link to an assessment. If you, I'm happy to run an assessment on your website and tell you sort of at a baseline how your website is performing. Happy to do that, and I'll put that chat link into here. I see it. There it is. Just so you guys have it all, in case anyone's interested. And that is that. All right. So, the first thing I want to do is dispel the myth that all of your sales need to come from word of mouth or referrals. I'm guessing, and I'm sure that a lot of you are getting word of mouth leads and referrals from networking, and that is a great way to get leads. But if you tell me that's the only way that you can get business in your industry, I think you might have your head in the sand. We all know it, that people are searching for products and services online in all industries, and even yours. And the younger that they are, the more they search online to find their own solutions. And what you might not be aware of is that your customer has gone on a long journey before they have found you. And that is called the buyer's journey. And at the end of this presentation, I want you to fully understand the steps that your prospect takes before they become your customer. And so the buyer's journey are the steps that a person takes from before they know they have a problem to researching those problems, to finding solutions, testing solutions, and then finally choosing a solutions provider, hopefully you. And that process, that buyer's journey, is what we're focused on today. So and what's most important to point out is that most of the stages of the buyer's journey are happening without you knowing about it at all. I mean, what do people do when they have a problem? They Google it, right? So people are doing their own research, and they may not even be aware that they have a problem until they read an article or a white paper or something, and then they become aware that they have an issue or maybe even an opportunity that they need support with. Next thing you know, they're Googling terms and topics, and it leads them down a path, and your business needs to be on that path at every step. So you need to be the answer to the problem before your prospect may even know that they have a problem to deal with. And what you might not realize is that more than 70% of the buyer's journey is done prior to talking to anyone at any company. So nearly all of your prospective buyers are doing their own research, and they're looking online to find solutions. And we can thank the internet for that, right? Because it's made it so much easier for buyers to gather quality information. And that means that sellers like you have fewer and fewer opportunities to influence the buyer's decisions. And it's important to point out that when B2B buyers are considering a purchase, they spend only 17% of that time with potential suppliers. And more importantly, when buyers are comparing several companies, the amount of time that they spend with any one sales rep may be only 5 or 6% of their time finding solutions. So that means that the buyer is only interacting with you 5 or 6% of the time of their entire process when they're looking for a solution. And so since 95% of the journey is happening without you, you really have little opportunity to influence customers' decisions. And this is why it's critical to understand what happens in your prospect's mind as they're looking for a solution. So what is the journey that your customers take? The buyer's journey describes the path to a purchase. They go through a process to become aware of and consider and evaluate and finally decide on a product or service as a solution. So by understanding the pain points and the problems that they experience along the journey and the influencing factors that shape their thinking, we can better position your product or service along that path. So today we're going to recognize 3 main stages of the buyer's journey. The awareness stage, where the buyer becomes aware that they have a problem. Like, what do I do if my mother keeps falling down, right? And then in the consideration stage, this is where the buyer defines the problem and considers options to solve it. So like, maybe I'll get an in-house aide, or maybe I'll move her to a private care facility, or maybe I'll move her into our house, right? They're in the consideration stage. And then finally, in the decision stage, this is where the buyer evaluates and decides on the right provider to administer the solution. Such as, you know what, I made a decision, I'm going to call Garden State Elder Care for help. So those are the stages of the buyer's journey. And it's important to note that as baby boomers retire and millennials mature into decision-making positions, which is happening right now, the idea of digital first buying has become what's normal. And we can expect the spike in digital first buying that's happened during the pandemic to really have a lasting influence on the customer's comfort with digital research and learning and buying. And believe me when I tell you, these digital first buyers will take their business to the companies that make it easiest for them to research and discover solutions on their own. And this is why you have to put a focus on how customers interact with your digital ecosystem, because this is all happening without you even knowing it. So I've seen great success in companies that have made this digital transformation. For instance, we have a client who does HVAC manufacturing and installation, and it's a second-generation business. And the father had a 30-year run on all word-of-mouth sales. However, over the last decade or so, sales have started to decline. Now, his sons has taken over the business, and they're starting to take advantage of technology, and things are back on track. So we helped them put a focus on creating new messaging and positioning content, created a new website for them as the hub of their marketing efforts, and then we wrote and posted articles online that are the answers to the questions that facility managers have. Now, this is what we call a content strategy, and that content strategy is created for Google search engine optimization, or SEO, in mind, right? And we're also doing a pay-per-click campaign, or PPC. And these tactics bring people to their website, they become engaged with the content, and then ultimately they convert to a sale. And sales, in this case, have converted and increased dramatically, including a deal that was $500,000 that wouldn't have happened without this campaign. So now we know what the stages of the buyer's journey are. Let's discuss your digital ecosystem and how to meet your potential clients at every step of their journey to find you. So thanks to the internet and the ability to dig deep into research anonymously, the power of buying has shifted from the sales reps to the customers. Sales reps used to get on the calls with the customer and share features and benefits of their products, but as new generations of people have come into the workforce, the believability of sales reps' claims have been met with more and more skepticism. And in fact, millennials are 2 times more likely to be skeptical of sales reps' claims than baby boomers. The bottom line is that people are doing their own research. So how can you influence their decisions when they are doing their own research? And this is where you have to meet them at each step of their buyer's journey as they pass through and around your digital ecosystem. So what's your digital ecosystem, right? Your digital ecosystem is anything online about your company, whether you have control over it or not. The obvious elements are things like your company website, your social channels, email marketing, paid advertising, Yelp, right? Some things that you have control over. Less obvious things in your digital ecosystem are things like your Google reviews, directory listings online, where your website is referenced on other websites that you maybe don't have control over. Your website chatbot, your Google My Business page, even lead management software like HubSpot or Salesforce. These things are all part of your digital ecosystem. And so it's important to understand at a detailed level how and where customers are learning and the decisions that they navigate as they're learning and they're going through this experience of making a purchase. So by understanding the obstacles and the distractions and the challenges and the gaps in information that your customers face, you can adjust your marketing tactics to build customer confidence in your business and position your business along that journey and become the solution to their problem. So what's the buyer doing during the awareness stage of the journey? The buyer's experiencing a problem or symptoms of pain, and their goal is to alleviate that pain. And they may be looking for more informational resources to help them more clearly understand and frame and give a name to their issue. So how can you reach them at the stage to bring awareness to your business? At this step, consider investing time into general content marketing, email outreach, social media campaigns, Google search engine optimization, or SEO. And all these things will bring brand awareness to your business. This is going to bring attention to your business, and if it's done properly, it's going to position you as an expert in your field. What's the buyer doing at the consideration stage? The buyer will have clearly defined their issue and given a name to their problem, and they're committed to researching and understanding the options or the methods to help with their problem. So how can we meet them there at the consideration stage? At this point, your prospect is collecting as much information about your solution and your competitor solutions as they can to decide on who they want to consider engaging with. So sharing product comparisons, white papers, articles with solutions to their problems, testimonials, reviews, and showing ads to people who have visited your website, that's going to boost chances of you making it to the next step. And these tactics will position you as a leader in your industry and a candidate to solve their problem. And then finally, what's the buyer doing at the decision stage? The buyer has decided on a solution strategy, a method, or an approach, and now their goal is to compile a list of available vendors and then maybe make a short list and then make a final purchase decision. So how can you reach them in the decision stage? And this is where you offer case studies and run Google ads against your competitors' names, posting thought leadership articles, email marketing, lead nurturing, customer discounts, free consultations, anything that will make the prospect feel more comfortable working with you. But be sure and use a digital strategy to follow up and nurture these leads through the stage. So, providing helpful emails, good customer service, of course, regular newsletters so that people don't feel abandoned and that you stay top of mind. That's going to lead to more website traffic, which is going to lead to more customers.
Quick question.
Sure.
Does sending frequent emails keep you, well, it does keep you top of mind with some people, and it's probably annoying to other people. How do you toe that line?
People will toe that line on their own. They'll get out of those emails. Of course, you need to provide unsubscribe links, and people sometimes will unsubscribe. But as long as you're providing quality content and people are staying on your list, I think there's value in that email marketing. And a little later on in the presentation, I'm going to tell you how to automate some of this stuff so it seems a little bit more personalized too. So creating automated email sequences that appear to come from you. So I'll get into that in a minute.
Thank you.
Sure. But what I want to talk about is how to apply, what this looks like, the buyer's journey, what it looks like in a real life example from a client of ours who is a metal manufacturer. So we built out their digital ecosystem and created a strategy to meet their potential clients on the buyer's journey. And in this case, in the awareness stage, we crafted a new message. We wrote new content for the website. We built them a brand new website to help promote brand awareness and bring credibility and showcase their products and their services. And then in the consideration stage, we created an SEO campaign, search engine optimization campaign, and also a paid search campaign, a pay-per-click campaign, sometimes called PPC, that positions their website on page 1 of Google for hundreds of search terms. This means that when someone is searching for terms that are related to their industry, they're being found on Google, and customers are considering their solutions thanks to this exposure. Finally, at the decision stage, we developed lead nurturing tactics with automated email sequences and ran ads against their competitors' company names. So by doing this, the client ended up with more website visitors, more form fills, more meetings with prospects who just maybe a few short months earlier didn't even know that they existed.
What does that mean, David, running ads against the company, the competitors?
Yeah, that's a great question, Vito. So there are ways that you can show ads to people who have visited your website if we track it properly. And not only that, we can do competitive analysis and start to show ads to people who have visited your competitors' websites to bring brand awareness to you in your space. So if your competitors are more known than you, we can do research to understand the people and the types of people that will visit their websites and start to show ads to those people. So it's a great way to start to bring brand awareness.
Okay, I appreciate that. Sure.
I want to talk a little bit about automated lead nurturing sequence. This is what you were talking about, Gershon. So that way that your marketing is working for you all day and every day. So specifically, I'm referring to lead nurturing in the decision phase. And at my company, we implement marketing automation using a software called HubSpot. And we start by placing a little piece of code on our clients' websites that will track website visitors. So if a person has ever come to your website and visited and maybe downloaded some content like a PDF or a white paper as part of their buyer's journey, now the system can track them. And this tracking is really helpful for a lot of reasons. For instance, it can let you know the moment someone comes back to your website for another visit. So that's important, right? Not only can we let it, will the system tell you when that happens, but we can automate emails to get sent to the prospects the next time they come back for a visit to your website. So imagine maybe, someone's visited your website, they go away for 2 weeks and they come back to your site to learn more. That's important to know because it shows interest from their side. And I know as a salesperson, I'd like to know that, right? So with this tracking turned on, the system can automatically send a message to your sales team, for instance, that, so-and-so is back visiting your website. Maybe it's time for the salesperson to pick up the phone and make another call to that prospect. Maybe perhaps they come back to your website and the system sends an email to the prospect with some promotional offer, right? And this we can do automatically with robots to nurture this relationship. And so we typically put people like this into an email sequence to nurture them along to a sale by periodically and automatically send them articles, white papers, links to your website, to relevant content, so that we're there on their journey. And once this is set up, your marketing is now working for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without any human interaction. And the prospect would never really know that these emails are automated because it comes from your email. Once we had a client come to us to help improve their lead generation, but after a closer look, it wasn't really that they needed more leads. We realized that they needed to better manage the leads that were coming in. And this client didn't have an automated process for lead management in place. And we discovered in some cases, they weren't calling the leads back for a few days. In some cases, up to a week, which I think is terrible. What a turnoff to a potential client, right? And let me ask a rhetorical question. How long does it take for you to get back to someone who's made an inquiry on your website? Is it a week? Is it a day? Is it 8 hours? Is it 12 hours? I don't know. Is it, at my business, we typically get back to people in 7 minutes. If there's an inquiry on our form, we want to get to them first. They're probably not only reaching out to you, so it's important to get back to them as quickly as possible. Anyway, with this client I was talking about who was struggling to manage the leads that were coming in, my team implemented an automated response from the lead forms on their website. So, if someone filled out a form on the website, they would automatically and immediately get an email back saying that a representative will be contacting them soon. And then we created an automated sequence of emails that gets sent to the prospect to keep them warm while they're waiting for the sales rep to call them. And finally, we set up a way for the prospect to actually book the meetings themselves with a booking calendar. So if they're really ready to move, they could take action themselves and book the meeting. And this really made a difference to their close rate. So you've set up your digital ecosystem. You think you're reaching your clients along their journey, but how do you know if you're being successful with your digital marketing? Fortunately, since all this work is digital, it's trackable and traceable, and you're able to prove where the customer started and flowed through their journey and where they ended and were converted to a sale. So for instance, we can track a person that came from a Google ad, then went to your company website, and then downloaded a white paper. They left for a month, and then they came back and placed a phone call to you. We can track that conversion process. The work that you do with digital marketing should be measurable and show proven ROI. So my recommendation is that you review these analytics monthly so that you can start to recognize trends. But the main point is to understand that you really need to learn and adjust each month. What worked last month? What didn't work? What can we do more of? What can we pivot away from to do better? And at my company, at David Taylor Digital, we have this thing we call the DTD way. What we do is we strategize, we execute, we learn and report, and then we go back to strategy again. Strategize, execute, learn, report, repeat. And remember, digital marketing is a process of constant improvement. You really have to think of it more as a marathon than a sprint. And we have a client who is managing a Google pay-per-click campaign on their own. And they were spending $10,000 a month on ads, and they felt like they were doing the right thing. They were getting new business from the campaign, but they weren't measuring the results specifically around the conversion rate of the pay-per-click campaign. So my team took a deep dive into how the campaign was set up, and we made some adjustments to some specific things in the campaign. And in doing so, we saved them $60,000 a year on their ad spend and got them the same, if not better, results. Because putting a team of experts on this to really fine tune the campaign can make a big difference. But getting started on focusing on all this digital strategy can really seem overwhelming. So I might share that you maybe don't want to try and do it all at once. So let's discuss a little bit on how to get started with digital marketing in phases so that it's maybe a little bit more manageable. Let me ask another rhetorical question, though. When was the last time you visited your own website and pretended to be a customer? And how was that experience? Did your website load fast? I mean, put yourself in your customer's shoes. Would they find the information that they're looking for quickly, and would they understand what your offering is at a glance? Very, very important. But so let's get into how to get started with your digital marketing in phases. This is a general approach, and it may look a little different depending on your industry, but this is a pretty good rule of thumb. Phase one is what we call the foundation phase. This is where you're establishing your online presence. So consider updating or optimizing your website, setting up your Google My Business page, setting up branded social media accounts, and then establishing relevant keywords and phrases that people search for at Google. Very, very important. And benchmarking your key metrics, looking at them monthly for trends. So that's the foundation phase. Phase two is the traffic phase. This is where I'm setting up email marketing, starting an SEO campaign or search engine optimization campaign by blogging about prospects' problems and the solutions to those problems. On-page edits to your website to attract more people from Google. And then a Google advertising campaign, a pay-per-click campaign, is going to really help in this phase. And setting up those email sequences that I was talking about to keep your prospects warm. Phase three, this is the reputation phase. So here, rolling out social media advertising, reputation management, like collecting reviews, actively responding to those reviews. Build your website authority with links from other websites. So getting other links from websites to link back to your website makes you more popular in Google's eyes. It positions you more of an expert. So taking this phased approach to your marketing allows you to grow your marketing efforts while still having time to focus on the day-to-day work at your company. And finally, here, I want to share the 6 most common mistakes that I see companies make when they're getting started with their own digital marketing. Number one is that they're expecting results too soon. It's possible to see some quick wins right away, but digital marketing is a long game. And you should see your marketing trending in the right direction within about 6 months, but you can expect sustainable, measurable results with a year of consistent efforts. Number two is that they're focusing on perfection. So don't expect perfection, right? Some experimentation is absolutely necessary, and don't let perfect be the enemy of great. Consider your marketing as a cycle of strategize, execute, learn, report, and then adjust and repeat over and over again. Number three is that I see companies go tactics first rather than a strategy first. I know sometimes companies just want to get started, right? They want it. Let's go, let's go, let's go. But building a 12-month marketing calendar is a really good idea. And developing strategy built on smart business goals and holding everyone accountable to those goals and results is way better than random acts of marketing. Number four is they get distracted constantly. So be careful, not to chase shiny objects and get off course. Create a plan, execute the plan, and empower your marketing team to say no to you. Don't divert your team from the goals that you set each quarter to chase ideas that might waste time and money and human resources. Number five, I see companies becoming the bottleneck. Really, the CEO becomes the bottleneck. It's pretty common. Sometimes approvals will sit on their desks for weeks because they just don't have the bandwidth to review them. So consider empowering someone on your team who has the desire and the capacity to expedite your marketing projects and leave the marketing to the experts in that area. And number 6, finally, is they're not measuring their marketing. So digital marketing is measurable. It should be clear what's working and what's not working. So review reports on a monthly basis at least, and make data-driven decisions about what to pull the plug on and what to invest more money in so that you can replicate your success. So what can you do today when you get back to your office or leave this meeting? I would suggest that you give thought to how you can meet your prospect at every step of their journey. Audit your digital ecosystem to set it up correctly, right? Consider your website, your forums, social media, your Google My Business, and especially your SEO rankings. Consider what happens when a lead comes in. How long does it take for a response? How are you connecting with the prospect? Is there a way to automate that? Measure and adjust your marketing monthly, and understand that sales can come from sources other than word of mouth. Because if you're lucky, you're really just included in 5% of the process that your prospects on your prospect's buyer's journey. And one thing is for sure, if you don't take advantage of digital marketing in some way, you're going to lose to your competitors. And I said it before, but I'll say it again. As millennials mature into decision-making positions, digital-first buying has become the norm. And these digital-first buyers will take their business to the companies that make it easiest for them to find solutions on their own before they engage with you. And that's it. I'm David Taylor from David Taylor Digital. Thanks for your time. I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has any. And also, I think I already put it into the chat, but it should be there in the link. If anybody wants my team to review your website and run some reports against your website, I'd be happy to do that. It always sparks good conversation. We can look at some data together, no obligation for real. I'm happy to do that for anybody who is here today. So that's it. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
I have a quick question. I know that this is supposed to be educational, and it was educational. I appreciate that. But can you tell the people here or me, like, who do you specialize in? Like, what is your ideal client look like?
So we have niched down over the years. Look, we have a lot of professional services, B2B are our clients. Over the past 5 years, we have really found a niche in the manufacturing sector. So companies that make machines, companies that manufacture products, glass manufacturing, metal manufacturing, precision parts, CNC grinding. These are very good clients and referrals for us. And we still do work with a lot of other B2B businesses that are looking to grow.
And what size companies are you typically working with?
Generally companies that are doing 5 to 100 million in revenue in the manufacturing sector. I think our sweeter spot is maybe 20 to 60 million or something like that. But we do have some clients that are doing 200 million in revenue, international plastics companies that we work with and manage all of their digital ecosystem on their behalf. But we do still work with a lot of smaller companies, local companies as well. We're based in New Jersey, but we really have a reach across the country. My team is in 8 states now, so yeah.
All right, now to the audience.
To the audience.
Anyone have any questions?
I see one in here in the chat.
So why don't we start there?
What influence do customer reviews have on the process? Are they trusted due to the use of bots? I have found reviews to be a very important part of the process to making a decision. This is not a great example, but it is totally relevant. We're thinking about getting a new dog, and when we're trying to find the dog, the first place I go is to look for reviews on where we're looking to get the dog. That's so important to me to hear other people's perspective on what it's like to work with that company. And those The Google reviews and Trustpilot reviews, they really require an account to set up. There may be some bots on there, but I found them to be very, very helpful.
Thank you.
Have questions?
When it comes to email marketing, do you find that long emails are better, short emails are better? Is automation better, or should you be doing everything very, very custom?
Well, there are two sides to that coin, right? There's email marketing newsletters that you can send out. Maybe you send one out monthly or quarterly. Some companies even send them out weekly. And there's a place for those, for creating awareness, staying top of mind, reminding customers of the services that you offer, highlighting a client. There is definitely a place for that. The other side of the coin is the automated email sequences that I was talking about, which you can set up not only for prospects, but for customers that you already do business with. And those seem more personalized, and they will get a better response and open rate with the more customized emails. Your question was how short or long, though. I think if you're writing a personalized email, it should be generally much shorter. The ones that are more marketing with pictures and things like that, they generally are a little bit longer.
So what I was thinking of was on the earlier stages, like if you're trying to generate new opportunity.
Mhm.
I've seen people talk about two different approaches. One is where like you write, well, I've seen people who claim that you should just like have a one-line email. It's like, we do ABC.
Uh-huh.
Is D bothering you? Where ABC is
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
solve D.
You mean in your
And
cold email outreach?
correct.
Yeah, that would be shorter is better, in my opinion. And what is the result that the customer can expect by working with you? Sell the results, don't sell the service.
Got it. I guess
You
that
know what I'm
segues
saying?
into value-based pricing also.
In what way? How do you mean?
Well, if you talk about what they're going to get out of it, not a service, but the results, then you can value your service based on
Oh,
the
sure.
results rather
Yeah.
than X dollars a month or X dollars an hour, or
Mhm.
any other
Yeah.
arbitrary fee. Say like, we're going to help you make $1 million. So then
Mhm.
you can charge $100,000 for that if you can deliver.
Sure, of course. We really like to get into the details with our clients on our meetings where we're sharing reports. We are tracking those leads for our clients. And then the responsibility of the account team is to ask the client, okay, let's just say these 10 leads came in this month. Did you close these leads? How much money did it add to your bottom line? I want to know that. I want to know that the money that they're spending to work with us is bringing them 5x return on whatever they're spending. We need to get into the finances with our clients because it really makes a difference into in the relationship. Knowing what leads closed, we really have to know that stuff in order to do our best work because it helps create a better customer profile too, right? So and this, interestingly, maybe not, but the longer you work with a marketing agency, the better your results should be over time because we continue to refine and adjust and hone in on what's working, and further definition of the ideal customer profile. So, over time, things get better and better.
Thank you. We have a question in the chat. From Veronica. How effective is SEO, and does it work without pay-per-click on the company's website, or do they go hand in hand?
That is a great question. So SEO is very effective. Paid search is very effective, and they do go hand in hand very, very well. Here's why. So when we think about SEO, we are targeting a keyword or phrase. When someone types something into Google, we want to show up for that word or phrase, right? So like in my example, like best digital marketing agency, like the key phrase, right? Or marketing agency near me, or search engine optimization company in New Jersey, right? So there's hundreds of ways to say the same kind of thing for a company. Defining the key phrases, like you might think I know 10 words or phrases that are very important to my business, and I want to show up for these 10 phrases. That is just the beginning. Research and analysis into those 10 phrases, expanding those 10 phrases into 100 or 200 different words or phrases of saying the same thing, but in a different way. Why is that relevant? Because when you think about search engine optimization, blogging specifically, you are targeting one of those key phrases in an article. So if you write a blog article, you're not targeting 10 keywords and phrases in that one article. You're targeting one phrase in that article to show up for Google for that phrase. Over time, you target another one and another one and another. By the end of the year, maybe you've targeted 50 or 100 different keywords. But one page of your website should be focused around one keyword or phrase. Now, that's a long way of explaining that will get someone who types something into Google, sees you on page 1 of Google, clicks through to your website to get there. Paid search is the idea that you can buy that one keyword so that you're automatically at the top of the page in a Google search. Now, you may target different words with your organic search, the blogging, versus your paid search, based on the competitiveness of the keyword that you are targeting. So sometimes it's harder to write, like there's thousands, hundreds of thousands in the world probably of marketing agencies. I'm not going to end up on page 1 of Google if someone types in marketing agency. There's much bigger agencies out there, and that's going to be really challenging for me to get on page 1 of 4. But if I can buy that word so that I am there if I want to, and I would be there tomorrow. So then paying for those words can get expensive depending on the word or phrase. And that's where more research and analysis into the different keywords and phrases to help balance the cost per click for those keywords.
So if I'm understanding correctly, you would say that it's worth investing in SEO on expensive keywords and maybe just buy the keywords on some of the less expensive ones.
That's part of the strategy, certainly. And another part of that same strategy is maybe, and this is what I believe Vito is asking, part of the paid search strategy can be to buy your competitors' names. So if someone typed in Ogilvy, David Taylor Digital could show up above them in the search results if I buy their name and I'm willing to pay for that click. So you might, if you do a search for your company name, you might see competitors are already buying your company name. And so that they can, if someone types in your company name, their URL is maybe appearing above your company.
Can you tell which of your competitors are doing that? Or just that someone's doing it?
You just have to do that and look and do it a couple of different times from a couple of different locations, because you will get different results. My results will be different than your results.
Because I feel like that's a little sleazy.
Yeah.
Just sticking your, but if you have a competitor doing it to you, then I don't really feel so bad doing it back to them.
Yeah, maybe not. And generally speaking, those are pretty inexpensive keywords to buy because there's not a lot of competition for a company name. Maybe 5 or 6 people are trying to buy that word. So, it can be a pretty inexpensive way to at least create brand awareness. So if someone is searching for something in your industry, they maybe know these 5 competitors, but they don't know who you are. Now they're associating your company name with your competitors, and now you're sort of in the mix of awareness for your industry.
So if you have the highest selling company in your industry and you buy that name, then when people look up the number 1, they're going to see your name.
They can see your URL above theirs, yes.
I don't know how sleazy that is. It sounds pretty smart to me. Only because it's a different approach. It's not like you're saying this company's terrible use my company, that's
Right.
sleazy. That's very sleazy. Oh,
Right.
they stink.
Right.
No, don't do that. But to say, hey, if people are looking for, no, it's like Coke and Pepsi.
Hmm.
You know the Coca-Cola rule in advertising? Anybody? The number one product in any industry benefits from all of the advertising done in the industry. Because if you are watching TV and you see the commercial, I'm a pepper, you're a pepper, and it sparks your thirst, when you go to the refrigerator, the odds are you have a Coke.
Right.
And then when you go to the store, you don't say, oh, I remember it's those cute people dancing. I'm a pepper. No, you buy the one that you always buy. And so,
Yeah.
you know, if you can tag on to that, that sounds really creative to me. Not to Gershon, but to me.
No, I agree it's creative. I don't know. I just would feel like if if you really want to talk to my competitor, I don't necessarily want to steal. If you're interested in general, I want you. But if you're
Yeah,
trying
but
to talk to
really,
him, why should I be?
if you're trying to create brand awareness in your space, right? And so that, there, you want to be in that circle of your competitors, but people don't know who you are yet. That might be a reason to do that. And I see Matthew posted something in the chat, which is totally relevant. Some of our clients will also buy their own company name so that if someone does a search, they appear 2 times in the Google search
Well, that's interesting.
at the top of the list, right?
And what does it cost to do something like that, to buy a name?
It depends on the competitiveness of the phrase that you are buying. Like, I don't think there's a lot of competition for people trying to buy David Taylor Digital as a key phrase. So it might be 15 cents a click. But if I wanted to advertise again, against Ogilvy and Mather or something like that, that might be $25 a click, right? You can think of it as an auction. How many people are trying to buy that word? The more competition there is, the higher the price is for that particular phrase.
And how would someone find out what the cost would be for a particular phrase? Is there a website that people go to for that?
Yeah, it's through Google. You can set up a campaign at Google to do a Google paid search campaign. And then there are tools on there that will show you the competitiveness of the keywords that you are tracking.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
All right. We have a poll up. Everyone can take a minute and just give us a drop of feedback. Drop a note in there if you want to speak with David or us. That would be helpful.
Great.
And David and all the people from our team, all our guests, all the people from your team, thank you all for joining us today. If anyone needs to get in touch with David, respond to the poll, reach out to
What
Brittany.
exit, David?
148.
Okay.
Good question.
You're down that away. Yeah.
Great. Well, I appreciate the opportunity, and thank you.
Absolutely. It's great to learn from
Well
you today.
done.
Thanks so
Well
much.
done.
Thank
Yep.
you all.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.